What's up, A to Z Sports Live here on a Friday. I don't know about you, Zach, but it does not feel like a Friday to me because Titans practice later on this morning and Titans practice on a Saturday as well. So we'll continue to bring great coverage to you guys for Titans training camp practice like we had the last 2 days. It doesn't matter what you're on when it comes to social media. We've got videos and reaction and highlights there, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube or Twitch. We're all over the place, and even TikTok is blowing up as well. But today, I told you yesterday, actually, that I was going to focus more on Malik Willis at practice, and I did that, and we found a topic in today's show based off of my observations from Malik Willis yesterday in Titans training camp practice about his footwork. So I took a video of Ryan Tannehill, Logan Woodside, and Malik Willis all doing the same footwork drill yesterday in Titans practice. We'll play that for you, and we'll spot the difference together of Malik Willis and what's going on with his development as Titans backup quarterback, rookie third-round pick, and where he's at with it, and what are we expecting moving forward. Then, as we talked some yesterday with Sam Phelan and I after Titans practice live on these same channels, Treylon Burks, punt returner, adding to his title there. We'll hear from Mike Vrabel and his comments about the rookie first-round pick being used as a punt returner potentially in the preseason. And it is Friday, so that means ain't that good news that we will wrap up this week with. Ain't that good news every Friday to wrap up the show. Zach, welcome in. I hope your Friday's off to a good start, even though it is raining outside, which means the Titans will be practicing in the bubble today. So just a heads up on that for our highlights later on today.
Yeah, it does feel like a Friday to me. It's been a very, very long work week. So, but we've started training camp, which does make content a little bit easier, and there's more work to be done. But and Marv asked, I did not, it was raining today. The droplets were different this morning when I walked out and walked tuxedo. So that's good. And, we're getting into the weekend. I feel like you start to settle into camp this weekend. That's when the Titans start to kind of settle in on what they're trying to achieve and what they're trying to accomplish and what they're trying to build as a team. So we'll talk about that along with Malik Willis and Treylon Burks, a couple of rookies today. We are broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. If you are watching on YouTube, we will tweet out those YouTube links throughout the course of the show via our segments through Twitter at A to Z Sports. So you can follow us there. We got content going out galore. We got exclusive content on our YouTube shorts and our YouTube videos that we've got a great team behind the scenes that are putting those together. If you're a Titans fan, you can get that exclusive content right there and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also on Facebook, what's going on, Facebookers? The real OGs that have been here since day one, we welcome and thank you guys for following along. 70,000+ strong. We're trying to get to 100,000. Share your Facebook video, and we got to pop up in your Facebook friends news feed, and that's how we expand. That's how we spread the good news, as they say, on A to Z Sports. More people will be rolling in over the next 5 to 10 minutes. So you guys share the show around, and let's get this party started on a Friday where at the end of the show, I have good, bad news. I have two good, bad newses. Good, bad news.
I don't understand.
Good for some, bad for others.
Oh, okay. So, okay. Coin toss good news. I don't know. That's fair. That's fair. And at some point I will have to tie the tie that's hanging around my neck because the Magic Bucket told me to do so yesterday. But let's get it going officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports, powered by BetMGM. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Zach Bingham. Make sure you follow us all over social media as we are Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, and we go live every weekday morning at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Find the link to the show, like Zach mentioned earlier, on our Twitter timeline and Instagram story. Hit us up there at A to Z Sports, and lots of TikTok coverage out there at A to Z Sports Nashville on TikTok, where we actually had this Malik Willis video we're about to play in a few minutes go viral on TikTok. So we got to thank our sponsors before we officially get going here on the show. with Wilson County Hyundai. If you're in need of a new car, make them a part of your new car buying process by going to see them in Lebanon or simply at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care, boneandjointtn.org, and Farm Bureau Health Plans. Get better with Farm Bureau Health Plans, better coverage, better rates, better service. Learn more about a health plan for you, fbhp.com/ATOZ. So out of the gates, Caleb, Zach, had homework after yesterday's post-practice training camp live video that Sam and I did. Caleb brought up, is Treylon Burks, or would Treylon Burks be the biggest punt returner in NFL history, and said, go do your homework. So Caleb did his homework in the past 10 years, and Burks would be the biggest in at least the last 10 years as a punt returner. We'll talk about punt returning later on in the show with Treylon Burks. But Zach, we're going to lead here with Malik Willis and what happened at practice yesterday. I told you guys I was going to pay more attention to Malik Willis and his footwork, how he goes about drills. And so we'll play you this video of Ryan Tannehill, Logan Woodside, and Malik Willis in that order, going through a footwork drill. Those are towels, like sweat towels, laying on the floor, on the ground there, that they are working with their footwork on foot placement in the pocket movement. They're getting direction from the quarterback coach, Pat O'Hara, on which direction to go, how to chop, where to drop, and reacting in live time to that. So there's Ryan Tannehill going through pretty clean, and then Logan Woodside. The big deal is I want you guys to pay attention to Tannehill and Woodside here. And then when we get to Malik Willis here in a few seconds, the difference in Malik Willis doing this drill compared to the two veterans in Tannehill and Woodside. So all right, so here's Malik Willis. Let's see what you guys think about this one, Zach. First off, the ball flies out of his hands. But what stood out to me watching this live is that his steps are so much bigger than the others. He's covering so much more ground that he is sometimes almost 2 full yards behind the towels. So what's your reaction to that and watching that with us there?
Well, I think the disclosure needs to be how many times Malik Willis has done that drill versus how many times Ryan Tannehill and Logan Woodside have done that drill, right? I mean, we know Tannehill has been on this roster for a few years now, right?
Yeah,
and he got the $100 million contract.
Year 11 in the NFL, right?
Right. And so I think that holds a lot of weight to this conversation. There is a difference between the two versus the one, right? And Malik Willis, and you also, mentioned how it flies out of his hand. His arm strength and that whip, that velocity, that's one of the main reasons why they drafted him with the value that they got in the third round. But this particular drill, especially day 2 of training camp, I do have to look to experience and that's kind of where I looked at. I said, wow, the first two, Tannehill and Woodside, they've been doing that drill. And this is kind of where I look at where Malik Willis starts his drill compared to where the foot or the feet of Logan Woodside and Ryan Tannehill are when they start the drill. I thought that kind of cued me too to say these guys know where to start. Malik Willis is learning where to start this drill.
Yeah, no doubt. And look, so MB says it's unfair, Austin. Those other guys have been doing this drill for years. And look, I'm not trying to take shots at Malik Willis. I am simply trying to offer up what's happening in training camp practice with Malik Willis, where he's at in his development, to try to have fans understand what we are seeing. Because the unfortunate part of training camp this year is a limited amount of fans will be at Titans practice 2 times in training camp. They might do an open Nissan Stadium practice at some point, but we don't have those details
yet. A special
yet.
team session?
Yeah, so we have no idea. But I can see Malik Willis practice. You guys can't. And I want to try to show you where he's at. He's got a long way to go. And so Derrick Henry was also god-awful at the majority of running back footwork drills his rookie training camp too. New drills, tough to do. You got to kind of like trick your mind and get your mind understanding what they're supposed to be doing for you to be athletic and look good in the drills. But I also do think it's important. And so Malachi asks, is it a bad thing that he covers so much ground? And Tim says it means he is more athletic. No, it doesn't mean he's more athletic. That doesn't show anything. But back to Malachi's comment, he covers too much ground. Why is that important? Why is the placement of Malik Willis in this drill important? Because Taylor Lewan and whoever wins the right tackle job, Dylan Radins or Nicholas Petit-Frere, need to know where Malik Willis is supposed to be. And if Ryan Tannehill and Logan Woodside know where their spot is in the pocket, they can better protect that quarterback. If a DN wants to go speed rush around the outside and Taylor Lewan wants to ride that guy as like deeper than the quarterback will be, no problem. That guy's out of the play. But if Malik Willis is 2 yards too deep in his drop, Lewan can't see that in the back of his head. He thinks, I can ride this guy deep and I'm fine. And all of a sudden he's riding his guy right into the quarterback if the quarterback's in the wrong spot. That's why it's important overall.
So look, I do not, and we'll go ahead and roll the film because I want to time this up to Malik Willis. I do not claim to be a quarterback coach. I've never been a quarterback coach. I'm not a quarterback coach. All right. Full disclosure. But I have worked with Chris Sims, as you guys kind of know the story, when he was trying to get back into the NFL. And Chris Sims actually taught me so much about quarterbacking. Look at where Tannehill's feet were pointed when he throws. Look at where that top toe is pointed towards the direction of where he is going to throw. Woodside is the exact same way. He's compact in his delivery. He knows exactly where he's going with the ball. That was the biggest thing that I saw between Tannehill, Woodside, and then coming up here on Malik Willis. That gives you your power and your accuracy. Your accuracy is switching the hips. And again, I'm just relaying what Chris Sims has told me. Look at where his foot is. His back foot compared to his front foot. It's not as compact of where Tannehill. And here's the other unique part that I will give Malik Willis some credit for. This may be his throwing style. I have no idea, right? This may be how he was successful at Liberty. I do not know. I haven't run his tape to see if that's a carryover. But I do know Logan Woodside and Ryan Tannehill, they're doing all the things that Chris Sims was telling me how to be a professional quarterback, and being compact and switching your hips to get the power through your legs and in your arm. Malik Willis has arm power. I mean, he has arm talent. That's one of the reasons why they drafted him. I would be curious to ask Pat O'Hara, and the assistants, they do speak, so there will be an opportunity to ask him questions, is what do you see with Malik Willis and this footwork and how wide his base is when he releases the football? Because that's the difference between Woodside, Tannehill, and then Malik, is the base when the football is released.
And you know what's funny, Zach, is that's a great point, because Malik Willis is extra wide. Remember who wasn't wide enough and they worked really hard to widen his base was Marcus Mariota.
Yes.
Yeah. And it was the opposite. Yeah.
He was penciled. He was more upright and he couldn't get the power from his legs.
Yeah.
So exactly. I'm sure there's a happy medium. And again, I will say one more time, I am not a quarterbacks coach. I don't plan to be. I can diagnose football. I've watched a lot of football in my life, but just looking at that, and I think that's what we're doing in this, let's just say, session or A to Z sports drill, is trying to figure out the difference, because you can clearly see the difference between the three quarterbacks.
Yeah. So let's get you guys more involved and have a chance for you to have your opinion. What's the biggest difference you see in Tannehill and Malik and Woodside and Malik Willis in these drills? What's the biggest difference that you guys see in this drill? We'll play the video again when we come back and read through your comments as well, and really what it means overall, because there's a positive in this as well, and then also the concern, the footwork. So we'll get to your guys' comments here in a second, but Zach, first tell everybody about Wilson County Hyundai.
Yeah, Wilson County Hyundai is where you need to go to get your next ride. That's wilsoncountyhyundai.com. You can look there at the bottom of the screen. You can see that white Palisade right there and that black Sonata. I mean, these things are slick. They can get you from point A to point B with fuel efficiency. Gas prices are still high. Don't let anybody tell you that they're not, even though people are trying to say that they're coming down. They're still high. They're still too damn high. Well, you got to combat that with some great fuel efficient vehicles. And that includes the Palisade, which is the full-size SUV with third row seating. It also includes the Sonata, which is a four-door sedan. They've got the Elantra. They've got the Santa Fe, the Tucson. Your perfect make and model is right around the corner. Quick trip down I-40 exit 236. Visit Payne Bone and his team. Payne Bone will hook you up with a great, great deal. You've just got to go out there and test drive one today. That's WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Hey, BetMGM today. If you're an existing user and you've already used our promo code to sign up, it's no run first inning Friday again. So it does feel like a Friday on the BetMGM app. So what you got to do, Major League Baseball games today, find one game to place a no run first inning bet on, and that is risk-free up to $25 if only one run is scored in that first inning. So check out our social media throughout the day. We'll post a suggestion on where you should place your no run first inning Friday bet on. Again, go in the game props, no runs scored in the first inning. You place that bet. It is risk-free up to $25 if only one run is scored in that first inning. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 or older, Tennessee only. All promotions subject to qualifications and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued with knowledgeable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire in 7 days. For problem game support, call Tennessee Redline 800-889-9789. Here live on this Friday. Zach, I'm going to send you to the comment section, and I'm going to play the video while you're reading comments about again, so we can all kind of go through one more time with the Malik Willis video and footwork and the comments. So what's the chat saying about our question is the biggest difference in Malik Willis and the two veteran quarterbacks?
Yeah, and look, this is just an exercise we're doing, right? I mean, this is a unique topic. You know, Austin and I are not at each other's throats arguing. It's just an exercise of diagnosing what we see. So go ahead and roll that film. A couple of you guys are saying, that back foot from tighten up, footwork and confidence is what to do / go. Biggest difference is being polished. And I've seen that a lot in the comments. Experience, bottom line from Harry, which I agree with. Every throwing motion is different. Every quarterback has slightly different base. There's just not one right way to do it, which I think you have to agree with Mason. Michael Vick's release is a lot different than Phillip Rivers. I mean, right? Those are two completely different. I do think that there's a basis of what quarterbacking to get your feet to help your arm. I think there is that fluidity, but Mark Jones says experience coming in from Troy, being comfortable and doing the drill, which I agree with. His footwork is in developmental mode, which is absolutely true. Biggest difference is he's a rookie. Josh Carroll goes with that. Jameson says fluidness. Malik is thinking because of his lack of footwork and playing slower as a result, just in this drill. That's Jameson's opinion. A lot of experience coming in on the chat. I think I have to agree with that. And Scott, I think, puts it very eloquently. Malik Willis is a project. We have to view him as such. And look, I think that was a big experience in the drill. I don't think that is just the wide base. I don't think that that's how you're supposed to be in the NFL. So I think that's what Pat O'Hare and the offense is trying to work on with Malik Willis. But the Tennessee Titans drafted Malik Willis to be a project. They didn't draft him in the same right of what Trevor Lawrence was last year, where you're going to have to play right away, or Joe Burrow. It just is not the same. He's a third-round pick from Liberty, okay? He didn't play. He was playing against North Texas. He wasn't playing against Texas A&M. Like, you have to kind of look at that. And his athleticism, and I think you can't run away from this, Austin. Malik Willis's athleticism against the competition he played against in college helped him tremendously be selected as high as he did, whether it's the third, second, or first round in the NFL draft. And that, I think, was what was intriguing to the Tennessee Titans for this project. His game-making and playmaking ability. He's a project. I think that was a product of lack of experience of the drill.
Yeah, and that I tweeted out from the A to Z account yesterday, and a different, video compilation of Malik Willis going through a bunch of different drills yesterday, and he is a project. There's there's such a lack of comfort level with him doing these drills rolling out. He is, it's not his fault. It's the fault of the coaches that he's had prior to now, that he is so raw when it comes to fundamentals and footwork in all aspects of playing the position. His footwork in the pocket is actually probably his best footwork. Whenever he's on the move, it gets really wild. And I've watched now probably 6 or 7 of his practices, and still, when he's rolling to his left, the ball comes out really weird. It almost has like a tailspin to it, where it has like a curveball action. It's not accurate. Sometimes it's way over the head of the intended target. Sometimes it's way inside or outside. It could really be anywhere. So Malik Willis is, I think, what the Titans are doing, and what the Titans can afford to do this year is strip everything down. You understand you have a super talented athlete who has a really competitive spirit and has shown that he can be good in games. But if you strip everything down this year and then build him back up while you rely on Ryan Tannehill to get you where you want to go, then that's okay. And so I did see somebody commented that I wanted to really disagree with. Let's see. Sean said, well, really Dwayne's comment of another wasted draft pick. I think that's so far off. But Sean actually brings up an actual like conversation point. A 3rd round project in such an important year could be considered careless by an organization. I mean, you could argue that. You could argue that the Titans could have used another wide receiver at the 3rd round level, another offensive lineman at the 3rd round level, another whatever, right? In that pick of 86 overall, but they decided to go with a project quarterback, because I think the payoff of a project quarterback who has such a high ceiling is too good to pass up at that point. And so, and Danny adds, it was their 2nd 3rd round pick, so they had more flexibility to play with. So again, I like the pick. I like the thought behind the pick. It's just the main point of the show is I want Titans fans to be patient, because I know and see it now. If Tannehill throws an interception on Monday Night Football in Week 2 in Buffalo, Titans fans on social media are going to be throwing their hands up, being like, "Put Malik in.
Where's pressure?"
Yes,
that's what they did. I told you that before the draft. Are you going to help Tannehill, or are you going to put pressure on Tannehill? They did a little bit of both. I mean,
yeah, I don't think, like, what I'm trying to tell you, Zach, is watching Malik Willis right now, there's zero pressure. Malik Willis is getting zero pressure to Ryan Tannehill.
Well, you weren't talking about that. You were talking about fans. There's 2 different conversations, right? Yeah. So let's separate them. The pressure comes from the fans. The pressure doesn't come from inside the building. They know that. It's just Kyler Murray's BS yesterday.
Ryan
he had to sit there and address something that
fan pressure.
But you brought up fan pressure. You literally referenced fan pressure.
Yeah, but not in the scope of Tannehill dealing with it. I'm talking about the fans' psyche, the fans' reaction of saying, don't jump to want Malik Willis. He's not ready. That's my point of saying this.
So here's my thought. I think that, and we have to go back in time, and I think fans easily forget because of how the draft kind of shook out. Everybody, all the experts were saying that Malik Willis was going to be the first quarterback drafted in the draft. Do you guys remember that? Yeah. I guess you don't. But like that was the projection from all the quote unquote experts. Todd McShay,
because he has the biggest upside.
Mel Kiper Jr. All of them were saying that. Now we now know how the draft went, and the Titans, and I think the reference of the 2 3rd-round picks definitely influenced their decision making in taking Malik Willis. Here is what I think that the Titans this season in 2022 are trying to figure out with Malik Willis. And I do think that this is going to happen. His progression does influence my opinion, but I think what they're trying to do is, can they put a package together for Malik Willis that they feel comfortable at? I'm not talking about 15 plays during the season. I'm talking about 2 or 3. Do they feel that they can use his athletic ability and maybe some tomfoolery or trickeration which Mike Vrabel is notorious at doing. Just ask Kevin Byard's, throwing against the Texans years ago in a punt formation, right? That was the only touchdown scored in that game.
No, Taywan Taylor had a screen pass that went for
they're known for that.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that's what they're doing for this season. I think overall they're trying to figure out, can Malik Willis be the future franchise quarterback? That's a bigger question. But I do expect, and I would not be surprised if there is a Malik Willis package that comes through at some point this year. I think that's what they're trying to figure out. But with the footwork and all the things that they're trying to learn, that's not ready now. I mean, it's July 29th. It just started. But can it be ready October? Can it be ready in November? Can they win or get some points or a big play in December or early January because Malik Willis has the talent? And we talk about him not even being active for the first handful of games. I agree. They're probably not going to activate him. But who knows what's going to happen through the course of the season? We know that roster moves. John Robinson is a very active general manager during the season. Just look at last year, right? You have to adapt. That's my opinion and what I think that they're trying to get him prepared for 2022.
Yeah, but Malik Willis is going to be on the roster the entire season. So will Logan Woodside, unless there's an injury here. And I agree more with Scott saying that this is going to be a redshirt year for Malik Willis. I mean, will they use Malik Willis in a fun, goofy,
that's the point,
package in November? I mean, maybe, but I also, because Jack Gentry and I had a similar conversation a few weeks ago, and I just feel like everything that you would want to try to accomplish with Malik Willis in a exotic, fun, deceptive package, Ryan Tannehill can also execute.
It's not about that. It's about keeping the defense loyal, right? It's saying, well, we're going to throw something else at you where Tannehill is not on the field. And it happens all the time in the NFL. This is not anything crazy.
I know.
I think that it will happen late in the season.
I just think you can still run those exact same plays with Tannehill on the field.
But that's not the point. You're getting Malik Willis experience. You're putting him in a game. You're getting some excitement. And you're throwing off a defense with maybe a successful play. Who knows? That's got to be drawn up.
I just think there has to be a lot more development to get to that point yet.
Obviously, that's
David agrees. David agrees with Zach. It's about getting his feet wet, not the trickeration of the whole thing. It's about the experience.
Yeah, David. David, love of the show. Well, I love that. We're on the same page, David. I like it.
Troy asked a question on YouTube. If 17 goes down for a while, who do you think they would start, Willis or Woodside? Well, I think it all depends on the length that Tannehill's out, right? If what's a while there to Troy? Is a while
3, 5, 8, 13 games? Right?
If it's 2 to 3 games, then Woodside's going to do it. If it's like a month or more, then maybe it's time for Willis to get some of those reps.
3 games could be an eternity with Logan Woodside, though.
Yeah, I mean,
again, with what they're trying to accomplish this year, you never want to look at that. And obviously, look at the Baltimore Ravens. They were 8-3. Lamar Jackson gets hurt. They don't make the playoffs. It'll kill your season real quick. It just will. And, it's interesting to think about that, but it's not real fun to think about it, right? Because I think it destroys the Titans season. Ryan Tannehill is the starting quarterback. He has to be the starting quarterback. He's earned the starting quarterback. The $50+ million cap space tells you that. And he needs to go through this season, and Ryan Tannehill needs to prove what type of quarterback he is. He has to go above and beyond what we've seen, which I think is going to be very difficult, but that's why you play the game.
Yeah, no doubt. A to Z Sports here live on this Friday. Titans practice is just under an hour away. On this Friday, they're going to be in the bubble because of the weather today. So looking forward to getting out there again. But let's get to this next topic, Zach, because I find this to be fascinating. Are you in or out on the Titans using Treylon Burks as a punt returner? And you will hear Mike Vrabel answer the question from our Sam Phelan about Treylon Burks being used as a punt returner here in a second. But are you in or out on Treylon Burks as a punt returner? But real quick, the Bone and Joint Institute is where you need to turn if you get hurt in life. And that just happens. It's unavoidable at times. You're going to get hurt living your life. So just know where to go and how to get there to get back to recovery. And don't wait too long. Like I waited 2 weeks too long with my foot before I reached out to Dr. Jeff Watson in the Bone and Joint Institute. Like I talk about them every day and I still waited too long. So learn from me. If you have an injury, take care of it. Jump on that thing so it gets better. boneandjointtn.org in Franklin. They have over 12 doctors there at their Franklin campus who specialize in any type of joint or sport orthopedic injury you could possibly have. boneandjointtn.org.
Malachi, before I talk about BetMGM, Malachi comes up with pretty good. I don't think Tannehill needs to prove himself. I think Downing needs to prove himself. Let's put that in the holster for next week, Austin.
I would love to have that conversation.
Yeah, I know you would, because I know we disagree on that. Let's talk about BetMGM, though. They don't have to prove themselves. They're loyal. We're loyal to them. You should download the app right now, right today. Well, not right now. Keep watching the show. But after the show, after you close out and log out, whether you're watching on a computer, your iPhone, or your Android, go to your app store and download BetMGM and use that promo code ATOZ Sports. It is Friday. That means no run first inning Friday. Risk-free up to $25 if only one run is scored in the first inning. That's BetMGM hooking you up with more deals on deals on deals. Major League Baseball is rolling through, but football's right around the corner. Download the app today.
Are you in or out on the Titans using Treylon Burks as a punt returner? Yesterday, there were 4 guys fielding punts for the Titans in practice. And Zach, I'm going to have you go to the chat. There's a lot of comments there in the chat about this. So I'm going to have you go there in a second. But the 4 guys returning punts, Mason Kinsey, Kyle Phillips, Terry Godwin, former Georgia Bulldog speedster, who the Titans literally signed yesterday, and then Treylon Burks returning punts. And Caleb did his homework yesterday. Treylon Burks would be the biggest punt returner in the NFL in the last 10 years.
Caleb also brought up a very good point I'm going to talk about after we get through these comments that I never, and I don't know why, I hadn't thought about till now since Treylon Burks was drafted by the Titans.
Okay.
So I'll disclose that. Let's go to the chat, though. In or out on Treylon Burks as a punt returner is wild. Titan says out. Out due to his conditions, out, very bad idea. Throne is in, Tony is out, don't hurt himself from Scott. Karen is out, Aaron is in. Xavier is out, put Kyle Phillips back there, not Treylon Burks, he says. John says out for sure from Eric. D says out, Jameson says out, CJ says out, more susceptible to injury, out from Big Ten Jeff. Dude is already gassed enough. I think we got to give him a little bit more leash now that he came into camp in shape. Big Ten Jeff, look, I was right there with you. Now we have to give him the opportunity, and this is messed up to say, but to fail, right? To regress, to take a step back. He hasn't done that yet. So that's kind of where that is. Brandon brings up D Mason returning punts with that emoji. I think he's got a point there. Derek says, I'm in. Now, that's 2 different physiques from Brandon, right? Derek Mason and Treylon Burks.
Yes.
Titans Kyle says out. In from Ethan Ramsey for extra conditioning reps. Devin says out. Great players can do it all from Chris. Malachi says out. Lucas says in. Michael says out. We need someone that is not a starter to return punts and kicks. Troy says out. Steven says out. Michael says out. Rooney says out. And Tim brings up little Teddy from our guy Sam Phelan. He does the Teddy Bruschi conversation needs to be had, but Austin, the chat says out.
Yeah.
Are you in or are you out?
My whole philosophy on football is that I should be out on this. And so Treylon Burks history, he's returned 12 punts his freshman year at Arkansas and 1 punt his sophomore year at Arkansas. 13 punts for 134 yards. That's easy math at 10.3 yards per return in his career. He returned 10 kickoffs his freshman year and averaged 22.6 yards per kickoff return. I think I would be more willing to put him back there to kick return than a punt return because I feel like his running style is more suited for that. But he's just a big ass punt returner. I mean, like Caleb said, If he's 230 pounds, if he's at his actual listed weight at 225, the biggest punt returner in over 10 years in the NFL. There's a reason why punt returners are not this big, because it takes a different type of shiftiness. You want to be able to dodge hits. And so I'll let you answer before we hear Vrabel talk. I'm out on this overall. I agree.
I was waiting. You said a lot. I didn't know what you were doing.
But no, I mean, my whole philosophy.
What's your final answer, Austin?
I'm out. My whole philosophy on how you construct a roster is that your top 2 receivers should not be your punt returner unless that player has shown elite ability at doing that. And he
hasn't shown that.
No, like Adoree Jackson being your number 1 corner and then trying to have him at punt returner makes sense because he was elite at that in college. Treylon Burks hasn't returned a punt since the COVID year of 2020. So he's clearly not elite at that. So don't use him for that.
Look, you went through his history of kickoff and punt returns. They did him because he was a freshman. A freshman in college, you throw your best guys out there to see if you can make a play and steal 7 points in the SEC. I mean, that's what you do.
Yeah.
I am, wherever you are out, I am about 50,000 miles in space more out on this. I think this is ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. I think this is stupid. I think he has more pressure on Treylon Burks has more pressure on him than anybody else because of the A.J. Brown situation. Don't put more pressure on him. You referenced Adoree Jackson. He was elite in college. He was trash ass as a pro. That Jags game rings in Titans fans' mind. Remember that? Thursday night football, Jags, Titans, live from Jacksonville. A muff punt from Adoree changed that game. And then the fourth down non-conversion in the red zone for Mario to Delaney Walker. Now I'm just getting flashbacks to that. But Adoree Jackson set them up for disaster, and they lost that game because of their poor start. Don't set up Treylon Burks to fail. Set him up for success. And what we know Treylon Burks is good at is deep routes, going over the top against lesser corners to grab the ball, his hand catching ability that he's learning to use his body as well, as he referenced in some of the interviews that I heard from us over the last couple of days. You want a reliable resource to catch the football and punts. Don't get me wrong, but it ain't your number 1 first-round draft pick that you traded another pick for. I'm out.
Yeah. So Deontay says, if he's capable, why not? Then Charles says, everyone relax. He won't be returning punts. Well, Charles, let's listen to the head coach when Sam asked Mike Vrabel about Treylon Burks returning punts.
Well, the most important is that you catch it, that you can secure the ball. I think that's where we're at right now. I think that one thing that he showed in college was that he was tough to tackle with the balls. He could run after the catch, and so hopefully just trying to find as many places to get guys that can help us, and if he can catch and secure and make the first guy miss, then he has a chance to help us. But most importantly, he's got to be able to take care of the football. And I would say that there hasn't been an evaluation for the punt return job. Catching it from the jugs, maybe a few from the punter, from Stoney or Brett. But without gunners coming at you out live action, that's been hard to evaluate. I think that he's getting more comfortable catching them. And, hopefully we can see him out there in preseason.
Hopefully we'll see him out there in preseason catching punts.
He didn't say no. He didn't. He didn't say that. What did he say at the end? He didn't say catching punts. You
That's
added
what he's
that.
answering, though. He's getting more.
He didn't say catching punts.
Zach. He literally set it up and said.
But that is prototypical of Vrabel.
No.
That's Vrabel.
No, I am putting a 30-second timeout on you for a second, okay? He's answering the question about, it's hard to gauge it in practice because there's no gunners, there's no live tacklers, there's really no live punt. It's just jugs machine, but he's getting more comfortable catching them, and we'll see if he gets out there and does in the preseason. He's literally referring to Treylon Burks potentially returning punts in the preseason.
But he didn't say catching punts. You added
That's
that.
what he's saying.
He didn't say that.
Zach, that is the question that was asked to him. Stop being so dense.
No, that's the art of Vrabel. No, don't be an idiot. That's the art of Vrabel. This is what Vrabel just said. I've listened to Vrabel enough times. I know exactly what he's saying. They are doing this to have Treylon Burks catch more footballs. That's what they're working on because the more balls you catch, his job as a wide receiver.
No,
he's catching that's what my opinion is.
No,
I'm sticking with
wrong.
it. You can disagree, but I think he will. I don't want to put 100% on this, but I'm 99 that Treylon Burks, I do not expect him to return punts in the regular season.
Well, we're talking about the preseason, Zach, and that was the thing there. And so
so here's last thing. Maybe they walk him out there in the preseason and he does a fair catch, right?
Yeah, and so let me just call BS on your thing about that's how he can catch more balls. Because let's see. Matt said, where'd Matt's comment go? Is exactly right, Zach. They're giving him more reps. He needs to catch up. Yeah, but catching, and Treylon Burks said this to Sam, and you can go read it, A2ZSports.com from yesterday in Sam's article about this. Sam had a one-on-one with Burks about catching punts, and you don't catch punts and passes the same way. In fact, it's the exact opposite. So you literally said he needs more reps catching the football. Well, if he needs more reps catching the football, they wouldn't have him catch punts with his elbows tied to his ribs. They'd have him go catch more passes with his hands out like he's supposed to.
Catching the football is a generalized term. The more you're being specific, catching more footballs as a wide receiver is a good thing. And that's my opinion. I believe that's what they are doing. They're putting him in different situations. That's obvious. That to catch more footballs. But Treylon Burks is not a punt returner, guys.
I look, again, we're both out on Treylon Burks returning punts, but Mike Vrabel said, hopefully we'll see him do it in the preseason with some live reps.
Question to you, Austin, while we're on the topic. Do you think Treylon Burks catches a punt in any of the preseason games?
I mean, we have to see.
I'm asking you a question. This is the most yes or no opinion. I don't want a fence. Okay. I want a yes or a no of your opinion.
Here's the thing, Zach, because if I answer yes, then you're going to hold it against me for the 3 preseason games.
Well, we're going to find out. Who cares? At the end of the day, who cares? I'm asking you a question that I would like you to answer.
You care because you're always keeping score of these things, and so that's who cares. So I'm not.
I'm holding you accountable by keeping score.
No, but Zach, here's what I can go off of. Yesterday, he was catching punts. Will he today? They're in the bubble, so I don't know if they're going to do it. But he was catching punts yesterday. Mike Vrabel says, hopefully we'll see him in the preseason doing it and go from there. So all I can go off of is one day of him catching punts is it feels like it's trending towards him having that possibility. I'm not going to say black and white yes or no.
What do you think? I don't give a damn what all the other BS that you spew. I'm just asking you a question. Can you answer it?
Right now, it's trending towards that being a possibility.
So are you a yes or a no?
I don't understand how you don't think my answer is fair enough.
Well, you haven't said yes or no.
Because that's not how it works, dude.
What do you think?
This.
What do you think?
You're asking me.
No. What do you think, Austin? Yes or no? Do you think he's going to return punts in the preseason? It does. At the end of the day, who cares? If he does or he doesn't, one person's going to be right. Who cares?
I'm not trying to be right or wrong. Zach, I say he shouldn't do it. I'm not trying to be right or wrong. You're trying to make me wrong.
What do you think he will do? I don't
know. Right. I don't know, man. I don't know. Because
you are the biggest fence guy in the world.
No, because you're pinning me in a corner, dude.
Stay fence system.
No,
this is unbelievable.
Shut up.
You have to say yes. Just answer the question.
I have zero control over this. So why should I answer yes or no?
What do you think? Can you form an opinion?
Here is my opinion, Zach. I'll say it one more freaking time for you. Listen up, okay? Listen. He should not return punts in the preseason. It would be a waste of time. Will he? It seems like Mike Vrabel has an interest in seeing him doing that. That is my answer from being at practice and watching it. So I'm not answering your yes or no question because I'm not going to set myself up for you dancing on me 2 weeks from now when he does it.
It's a question. Who cares?
Because
you just
care.
are a fence guy. You're on the fence.
You care, Zach. You care. That's why I'm not answering the question because you're going to hold it against me if he does it.
I'll come out. Look, I'll stand up on the other side of the fence and I will say, I do not think that he fields a punt.
I don't think he should. So
I didn't ask you if he should. I asked you, do you think he will? There's two different questions.
I don't freaking care, man. I don't care.
You don't care? You're covering the team. Why don't you care?
No, I don't care about my prediction about something he might or might do in the preseason.
Can you form an opinion? Yes or no?
I have my opinion. Damn it.
Will he do it?
I don't fucking know. Stop, dude.
Whoa.
Come on. Stop doing this.
All right.
You are being
okay.
ridiculous.
Well, now you've look. You can't answer the question. Now you've gotten out of hand.
being ridiculous.
So let's get some good news after that.
All right. You got to stop doing that. All right, we'll get
You
to
can't
good news.
answer a question though.
No, because you're going to set me up to be wrong.
Who cares?
You do.
What if
You
what
do.
if he does?
You
What
do.
if he does catch a punt and you said that he did?
I don't
we
care
can have a
about being
conversation
right
about
that. We're having a conversation after practice. God, dude, you're driving me insane. Why do you not understand how annoying you are?
Because you can't answer a question.
Because
this is an
you're
opinion
asking
show.
me loaded
You can't have
questions.
opinions on opinion show.
Zach, you're asking me loaded questions to set me up to be wrong.
Who cares?
And I'm not going to do that.
Then say no.
Because I don't know. It's not in my control. Why would I put myself on record for that?
It's an opinion.
Okay, let's get to good news. But first, tell everybody about Farm Bureau Health Plans.
Farm Bureau Health Plans, look, there's only one opinion on Farm Bureau Health Plans, and that is an absolute yes. YES, that's a yes. Farm Bureau Health Plans, 200 plus locations, better coverage, better rates, better service. FBHP.com/A to Z. They can help you like they've helped me. I save 20% every single month on Farm Bureau Health Plans. Man, it has helped me tremendously. And it's easy. You take a quick health assessment, they give you a quote, and then you assess, hey, should you make the switch? I did, and I am very, very glad that I did. They've got better service when it comes to when you have and need somebody to talk to, they will be on the line. 200 plus locations across the state of Tennessee. That's FBHP.com/ATOZ.
Today at BetMGM, in any Major League Baseball game, you can get a risk-free, no-run first inning bet because it is no-run first inning Friday with the BetMGM app. All you got to do, find a game, and we're going to suggest one on our social media later on today for no runs in the first inning scored. It's risk-free up to $25 if only one run is scored in that first inning. It's time for some good news. All right, what is your good news today, Zach? And we've got a lot of comments about good news as well.
I'll let you read those comments. I have good, bad news. I'm going to run through both of them. Good, bad news for, well, me. One is good for everybody else, but bad for me. And that is what occurred yesterday. And that is the Big Mac. I had time to go through the drive-thru and get a Big Mac with a large cola and a large fry. I ate the majority of the fries. I ate about, I would say, half of the Big Mac before I was like getting queasy. And the Coke, I will say McDonald's does have good cola. They do have good Coke, but that's good for the viewers. I'm a man of my word. I told you I was going to do it. I made time. That is my evidence. So that's good for the public, bad for me. The other thing is good for me and bad for the public. And that is Julio Jones is a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. And I have a good feeling that he is going to be so much better in Tampa than he was with Tennessee. I think it's obviously a different situation, different quarterback, different health. Julio Jones is not going to be the Julio Jones that we saw in Atlanta, but I do think Julio is going to be much better in Tampa than what he was able to or not able to accomplish as a Titan.
All right, so good news, Jeff. I don't know what he's referring to, but I'm glad it's here. Good news, the dancer that had the video board fall on him in Hong Kong didn't die, just serious neck injuries. That's good. Bobby says good news is planned vacation less than 1 week away. That's fantastic as well. Some more good news. Billy says good news, that segment is over. John says good news, the age rating for the show has been updated. There you go. More good news that Zach, Clayton says good news. Bought a PS5 this morning, tried for a year and a half and finally got it.
I feel like those are like white tigers, right? Or white whales. You can't find them. Like they're out there. You see screen, shots of the games, but yeah, that is wild. So congratulations. That's big time.
Max, good news. His mom's surgery went well. That's
Way to
fantastic.
go, Max.
That's great news. My good news is that I went on Buck's radio show Wednesday after Titans practice before Sam and I went live, and I got a really good one in on Buck talking about Treylon Burks.
Was very accountable of everything. He brought up his asthma, so maybe Sam Pittman really doesn't know much about asthma from his 3HL interview from last week. But no, he was great. He said that he should have attacked it differently to start his Titans career a few months ago. But he looks great. Mentioned he lost 5 or 6 pounds. And I think, Buck, that makes a huge difference, right?
I almost cussed at you. You mother bleeper. That is shameful. Man. All right, you know what?
So the Curb Your Enthusiasm music to follow that one, that Treylon Burks lost the last 5 or 6 pounds that made the difference, but Buck couldn't do it. And I didn't plan that, but it was a well-landed joke, and Buck took that in stride. But pretty good appearance there.
All right, you got 3 minutes. How do we tie a tie?
Well, so I'm left-handed, so this is going to be tough for you guys. So I've got my short end over here and my long end over here, right? So you have to line it up. You put the short end just a little bit below your chest. You rotate over, and I'm doing this where I'm mirrored, right? So it might be kind of backwards for me. So I'm kind of blind doing it. So then you flip this over this direction. Hopefully I don't hit my microphone. Then you go one more time to make that knot a little thicker.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then you come up through the center here. You pull it all the way through. And the tricky part is you got to be able to feed it through that last flop there. And if you pull it through, let's see how I did here. Let's see. It's really big right now, but I just got to tighten it up a little bit. Pull it there. Pull it there. Here we go. There we go. How about that?
That's a pretty good looking tie.
Not bad. Not bad. I haven't tied a tie in probably 3 years. But there we go. Not too terrible. But, blind tying a tie. That's how you tie a tie from a lefty standpoint. I don't know how you guys do it as right-handers, but that's how you do it from a left-handed standpoint.
The opposite. We're in the mirror. You did it right-handed, right in the mirror.
That was the weird thing, is like not being able to time that up thing. But there you go. All right. So I'll see you guys after Titans practice. Have a great rest of your Friday. Sam and I will be live around 1 o'clock today. See you guys then. Appreciate it.
Adios.